So yeah, I think it kind of like, it started with like, let me have all my backup plans in place. And then once I was in the middle of it, I was like, this is it. This is what I want to do.
Yeah. So it sounds like it just took that initial moment of like, okay, I got the fear, but I believe in it. And now I'm feeling it. And now that I feel it, I am certain of it. Like,
Mhm.
this is my path, my journey, my way. Yeah, a lot of that is similar for me too. I come from an acting background. And for me, I had a handful of big moments where I was really questioning whether or not that was the pursuit I wanted to have in my own life because of aspects of that profession being really rough and tough and questionable, uncertain. I might not be the person you're literally looking for. I might not fit the visual profile. And that could be the difference maker of me putting enough food on the table or not. And that just scared the crap out of me.
Yeah, I
So,
can imagine.
what within this old career path or these other pursuits were you really working to get away from that software development or this role in software is sort of addressing? You talked about mental health there. Were there any other aspects of things that are kind of a driving factor?
Yeah, that's a great question. I was talking a little bit about what some of the things about working in the field of behavior analysis, um, things that I was tired of, and what kind of changed about that in the field of software development. So I think specifically, like working in human behavior and working with young kids and families, there's just a lot of gray area. So, the problems that I used to be solving were things like this kid seems to be having more tantrums or more intense tantrums, and then trying to figure out, okay, like what are all the variables contributing to this? And of course, you can't know everything, like what's going on internally. Are there things happening with the family that we don't know about? And like, how do you really capture the intensity of a tantrum with data? Like, is it the length? Is it the behaviors associated with the tantrum? So, a lot of what I was doing was very analytical and data based, but it just felt very frustrating at times to constantly kind of be working with this very, you know, human behavior is just not something that's black and white. And so the problems that I get to solve now, while, in some ways they feel a little less meaningful, where before it was like, oh, I'm changing people's lives. And now it's like, oh, my button is working. But at the same time, um, it's a relief sometimes not to be so responsible for the well-being of potentially hundreds of people, whose the things affecting them are largely out of my control. And code felt very like a relief in the sense that the problem is very black and white. The answer is achievable. Like, the computer is, everything is right or wrong. There's no middle. Of course, there's like, in any given coding problem, there's like a bunch of different solutions to it. And you could get five programmers who all think, no, my way is better. It's more efficient, or it's more this. But ultimately, like, if your code works, it works. Great. And so there was something about that just, after, like I said, working in a really emotionally difficult field for such a long time, it just feels so, I just get that feeling of satisfaction so regularly, like, I fixed it, I made it, like, I'm doing things and they're working. And if something's not working, there's an error log, like it's telling me what the problem actually is. And that's just something that I never really got before. There would be problems that were hard to define and solutions that never really felt solved. And of course, there's things about it that I miss, but it just feels sort of like work is just work, and I don't take it home with me nearly as much. And I feel so many more wins, um, compared to before. So yeah, I think that is sort of a big part of, I don't know, just my overall satisfaction on like a day-to-day basis, that I'm not coming home going, "Ah, like today was so hard and I have no idea why." And like I might not know for another month or two what's really going on in this situation, and that kind of thing. So, uh
Hmm.
yeah.
Did you ever envision yourself in tech? Like earlier on beforehand, was it something? No.
Not really. I mean, I dabbled in like, I think a lot of people in my generation had like a MySpace page where you would learn some cool HTML to make the background color, you know.
Oh yeah.
So I
You were
did
a
a little
hacker.
bit
You were a
of,
full-fledged hacker. Hacker.
yeah, I had my AIM profile that like, now would basically look like a spam pop-up site with like little floating boxes moving around the
Uh-huh.
screen and stuff.